What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim taking a look at Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt. This is a new battle royale game from a company called Shark Mob. The studio is relatively new. It consists primarily of ex-Hitman and ex-The Division developers, and I could see a lot of that in this game. So if you're a fan of those games, that kind of third-person tactical type of game, you may actually enjoy this. I actually did. I thought it was pretty interesting. What you're looking at here is gameplay from the closed alpha, which I signed up for and got into. The game will be free to play when it is all said and done, and they're going to be giving away more and more keys and codes very soon. So if you're interested, they have an official newsletter on their website. I'll post a link to that in the description below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate your support. So this is a class-based battle royale game which pits you against vampires in a sprawling 3D cityscape which is under lockdown, because I guess people figured out, hey, we can't have all these vampires running around. So we're going to put them all in a city. And they're going to fight it out. And then at least there's only one or two left because they're all going to murder each other. At least that's the way I took it. It is very... if you're familiar with how a Battle Royale game works, then you're going to understand this. You click on a location to drop in. Unlike other games where you kind of parachute in this game, you just kind of appear somewhere. You can kind of click wherever you want and poof, it begins. And you walk up and down the sprawling city streets, looting and shooting your way to victory. Now, what makes this game different than a lot of the other Battle Royale games that I have played is that it includes hero powers. Now, you have seen that in Valorant as well. But most of the Battle Royale games, typically, you're just a first-person, mindless shooter that, you know, you have a gun. Maybe in Overwatch you have a class, although that's not really a Battle Royale type. But it's typically just your luck is going to be whatever kind of gear you find, whatever piece of equipment you find, that's what's going to be your loadout. You could have a great game or a horrible game, totally dependent on the loot that you find. Now, this game, it has a very similar spin to that as well, but there are some key differences, and I think it's something that adds to the replayability significantly and something that I'm very interested in seeing how this concept evolves. First, you'll notice that there are actually NPCs in this game that you can run around and shoot or eat. Obviously, as a vampire, you will eat them, or bite their neck, I guess, technically, to get back some of your HP. You're also going to be able to bite certain NPCs that will give you different types of abilities. And this is where the game, I feel like, really starts to take a different turn. You'll find these passive abilities that allow you to hit more melee or to jump farther or things like that, that allow you to dynamically kind of change your loadout, and not just in terms of guns, but also your abilities, which is actually really, really cool. I like that mechanic because now you're not only just hunting for guns, which appear everywhere, by the way, you're also hunting for key, you know, civilians in the world that you can eat or bite that will give you, you know, different ways to play as well. You have two guns. You have a primary, a secondary, and you also have a melee. Melee in this game is ridiculously powerful, and most of the times that I've played, and you're just looking at a sample match here, I usually die to melee because it's just so powerful. People run at you with fire axes or these double, like, flaming katana swords, and they're just so brutal. They're like 1 or 2 shot kills. I say take a lot of this with a grain of salt. I mean, it is an alpha, right? I mean, like, let's face it, this game is not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. This is just kind of getting in the hands of people. So there's going to be some tuning that takes place. There's no doubt about that. So some of the weapons definitely could probably use a little bit more TLC, but that's okay. All right, so the gameplay, as I mentioned, you're looting, you're picking up guns, you're picking up items, whether it's body armor or blood bags or bullets or guns, and your objective is to go around and hunt down and kill the other vampires. There are some pitfalls that are in your way, though. First of all, there are guards that walk around on the ground that guard very high-end caches of loot. I think in this particular playthrough, you're not going to see too many of them. I think I steered clear. But if you want to go pick a fight with these guys, and they are tough, they drop some of the best gear in the game, which is actually really, really cool. Because what ends up happening is it forces you to play a little different game. I mean, it is almost a PvPvE at certain times. If you want to go after some of the most premier loot in the game, you're going to have to gear up. You're going to have to, feast on civilians to get your HP up, to get your abilities ready, and then you're going to have to go fight these guys. Now, when you fight, where it gets really, really tricky, and I don't know why this guy doesn't kill me. Probably because it's an alpha and nobody has any idea what the hell they're doing. But where it gets a little tricky is when you are fighting people. If you make a lot of noise and you kill a civilian in the street, which I did earlier and I'll do it again a little bit later as well, or when anybody's shooting any kind of gun that an NPC sees, you become wanted and you appear to everybody in the game where your location is. So it's critical that if you are going to be a stealthy player and go around and feast on people, and you do want to fight for some of that really good endgame loot, you're going to have to do it in a very stealthy way. Now, thankfully, there are a lot of classes. There are 6 different classes available that right now in the technical alpha that have different abilities that cater more towards stealth or more towards melee combat or reloading speed or healing. So there are plenty of things to find that you would like. You just got to kind of pick the class that works best for you. But I think the real key is just to make sure that as you are kind of working your way through and, leveling up and feasting on people, you're becoming the best vampire you can be, but doing it in a meaningful way. Now, you could just stand on the top of the tallest building, shoot your gun wildly in the air and just wait for people. Or you can kind of take your time, which is what I'm doing, and kind of scavenging some of the corners of the map, looking for gear, looking for upgrades, trying to make your character a little bit stronger. You are, because of the way this game works with that kind of overarching alert system where everybody can see you if you're caught by a civilian, whether just shooting them in the back or picking a fight with those guards I mentioned or picking a fight with another vampire. You're very susceptible to being third-partied. And I think that's one of the big criticisms I do have of this game is I can't tell you the number of times I sneak up on 2 people fighting. You saw this is my first kill of this particular match. Because everybody just appears. It's so easy to see them on the map. You see their outline. Like there you see in the horizon, there's a red outline. I see exactly where this player is. It's better than a UAV in a Call of Duty game. I know exactly where this guy is, and I'm going to walk up right behind him. And he's shooting, and he doesn't even see me. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, wow, like how is it possible? And he gets away. Again, the balancing in this game needs some serious work. He just lets me live. I guess he just felt bad for me, and he just is like, see you later. You do self-regenerate, by the way. If you don't get killed, you'll just automatically regenerate. You'll be really low on health and stuff, but you can just get back up. Just keep on keeping on, which I don't know. I assume that's something they're going to have to work on. But you keep all your gear, everything, and then you just got to go find somebody to eat and get right back in the fight. Okay, so I picked on the balancing enough. But you see how easy it is to third-party people. I did it very unsuccessfully there. That would be my biggest criticism of this game. I think there is definitely going to be a lot of instances where you are going to be in a fight and you're going to get just nailed from behind, and it's just not going to feel very pleasant. There are a lot of buildings that you can loot. Like here you could see I break into a pharmacy, and instead of actually biting somebody to get back my HP, I just chug some blood bags and blood syringes just to kind of keep my, keep it going. Breaking into buildings is a great way to get loot, but just like with all the other mechanics, if you get caught, the guards are going to come, and it's going to be kind of tricky. So there is always this idea of kind of being stealthy and just being aggressive, and I like that. I think that's where this gameplay is going to really kind of make or break something. When you're basically running around doing really cool parkour and fighting people, what how are you going to engage in the enemy? That's the question. Are you going to be stealthy or not? And I feel like based on my exposure with this game so far, the people who are stealthy are going to have a much better chance of survival. I don't see any real incentive, honestly, in the game like this to really even consider picking some of these really big fights. I think you're better off just waiting, kind of hiding and being stealthy and just waiting for kind of the end game. I don't see any advantage to kill people right away and to get really loud and aggressive right away. I don't think you need to. And I think that's something they're going to have to work on. You know, when you play a game like, because of the verticality, when you play a game like Call of Duty, you know, Warzone, which is like my go-to game for this, there's not a lot of verticality. Yes, there are some buildings that you can explore, but the truth is, in a game like this with the sheer amount of parkour that you have, and you could run up any structure, and you can jump, and you can dive, and you can be very, very stealthy or very aggressive, either way you want to look at it, it's very easy to just disengage from the enemy. And I feel like that's something that they're going to have to address in terms of making it more incentivized for you to actually go out and fight people, because the reality is you don't have to. And I don't know how they're going to fix that balance. It's easy to be a coward in this game. Now, yes, you do have a leveling system. There is a hub world that takes place outside of Masquerade. Here's one of the guys who plays for. Look how much damage this guy does when he hits me with that thing. It's brutal. And I use the power on him. And how cool is that? So now I'm going to get to kill him. So look how many shots it takes to kill him. 2 shotgun, 3 shotgun. He falls down the hill. 4 shotguns. Reloading. I think I switch over to mine. 5 shotguns. It takes 5 shotguns when he's down to knock this guy. I mean, he, of course, loot pinata. You know, he pukes out all his good stuff. I can load up and pick up and keep going. But, yeah, they're going to have to work on how they want to address some of the combat. The world is great to explore. It's fun. There's tons of buildings, shops, the NPCs that you can find. You know, leveling up back, like I was starting to say, at that hub world is a great way to, you know, stay in the fight, to get different perks and skins and all that kind of cool stuff that all these games do offer, cosmetics. But the reality is, from a purely tactical standpoint, they've done such a good job creating great cover, great movement, great terrain. If you want to be if you want to be stealthy, you can. So we'll see where this goes. I think I'm cautiously optimistic on a game like this. I feel like a game like this definitely has a lot going for it. I just need to see them really flesh out the idea. And I'm sure that's what's going to happen with this open alpha. But if you're interested, like I said, they are starting to really roll out this game very, very soon. Check it out and tell me what you think. It does support controller. It does support keyboard, mouse. I know it's going to be coming to consoles. It's going to be free to play. It seems like it has a lot going for it. And I hope it makes it, because I think it's a cool concept, and I'd like to see that Battle Royale space get another strong competitor. It seems like we've really stagnated between just 1 or 2 of these Battle Royale games. Having more is always great. So with that, I'm going to get back into the city and try to do a little better. This guy, unfortunately, devours and destroys me. Hope you guys found this video informative. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.